We've got Peter Koen. Peter, thanks so much for doing this.
Sure, glad to do it, Seth. It's been an amazing 20-year journey. In a way, surprising that we're still here. So, as you said, we started in 2003, and throughout the many years, we've introduced trends before their trends. So I guess a classic example was in the early 2000. Clay Christensen introduced his book on innovation dilemmas, which I think is a hallmark in trying to understand the front end, trying to understand disruptive innovation. And he was one of our first speakers in fact, 2004. And then subsequently has appeared in multiple conferences. So clearly that was a trend before, in fact, I believe Clay Christensen's book became a real bestseller and one, I think, of the top 5, top 8 innovation books published.
And you've outlined really 8 pillars of innovation. 2 of those pillars were right there in the program in that 2004 iteration of FEI that you mentioned. Number 1 was strategy. That's what Clay spoke on.
Right.
And then we have creativity and culture as well.
Yeah, what we did in those early years is we brought in leading speakers who had some original thinking on creativity and culture, such as Dan Pink, and of course the folks from IDEO. And also around that same time, I think in the very beginning, we wanted to bring in the foundations of the front end. And some of the topics admittedly weren't breaking, but we wanted to center the conference in them. For example, human-centered design, we talked in multiple conferences, and human-centered design is very much a building block of the front end, and something that I would say that most companies who are good in innovation really have competencies in human-centered design. What we did over the years is that we brought in leading speakers. For example, Claudia Kotcher from Procter & Gamble talked about how they implemented human-centered design throughout their organization. We brought in folks from IDEO. So we really leaned into important topics and continued to lean into these important topics through the years. So in 2005, we brought in open innovation. Now that was a new topic. Henry Chesborough was one of the leaders and has continued even today. In fact, Henry has spoken at our conference, I think 3 different times. But we brought in open before there was a trend. So that's clearly an example. And then and we've continued to look at open and really be the place where you hear a lot of the new concepts on open innovation. Around 2007, we brought in ambidexterous leadership. We brought in Mike Tushman, who is the founder of that area, and it talks about how you really should lead a team in breakthrough or transformational innovation. And it's really the primary way to achieve success. And once again, we brought in the main topic before it was a trend. Business model innovation, I think, was always a topic. I think Alex Osterwalder did a great job of talking about how you had product innovation, which was to a certain extent our focus prior to 2008. And Alex brought in the concept that it's really just not the product, it's the whole business model that you have to win with. Lean startup, yeah, lean startup was another major trend that we brought in. Lean startup, of course, was founded by both Steve Blank and his mentor Eric Ries, and it's a fundamental way of employing experimental methodologies within the whole process of innovation. And once again, we brought in speakers like Steve Blank before it was a major trend. Corporate venturing has been through a number of waves. I think where we brought in is that if you look at where companies are having success with corporate venturing, it's as a window of the future, instead of buying corporations as an investment vehicle, is taking minority shares in ventures. And I think that's the concept that we brought forward in 2008. And again, that's a continuing trend that you'll see today.
As far as what folks should expect from this 20th year?
I think the continuing theme that companies are struggling with is how to succeed with transformational innovation. And of course, we continue at the conference talk about many of these 8 pillars as well. So if you're not familiar with the 8 pillars, I would suggest that you become familiar with them, and then listen to some of the new topics, because for sure we'll be adding a 9th or 10th pillar at maybe this year's conference or at a future conference.
Peter, Koen, thank you so much.
Thank you, Seth.